Let's talk about cravings. Sorry about this late. If you're watching on YouTube, it's not cloudy today, so the sun is shining. So, cravings. If you're working on healing your relationship with food, or you are struggling with your relationship with food, cravings are probably prevalent, and everyone has cravings. It's normal. But should we ignore them, suppress them, or give in to them? So, I have a history with binge eating. And before that, I had a season of very restrictive eating. So there were a lot of cravings for various different reasons throughout that whole very long season of my life. So I'm very familiar with cravings, as I'm sure everyone is. But it helps if you're trying to heal your relationship with food or struggling with your relationship with food. It can help to understand why you are having cravings, why you're struggling. And I have an episode on reasons why you may binge eat. So I will link that down below in the show notes or the description if you're on YouTube or you're listening on podcast. So cravings seem to be one of our enemies if we're struggling with our relationship with food. So why do we get them? One reason can be mental. We have foods that we have happy, pleasant experiences with. So that one dessert you had that someone made and you're just like, oh, that was so good. Like, that sounds really good right now. Or pizza or pasta or foods that we know we enjoy and we're like, you hear someone talk about it, or you see a food on TV or watching a cooking show and you're like, that sounds really good. That looks really good. Man, I'm craving that now. And then we have physical reasons why we have cravings. So one reason we have cravings is a natural thing. It's sometimes our body, now I'm no expert, I'm not a scientist, okay? Disclaimer. But sometimes we get cravings because our body needs certain nutrients. And our body sometimes knows like what foods have that. Or I don't know the scientific connection between our body needs certain nutrients, and so like our brain we have a history of like what foods we have eaten that have that nutrients. So like for me, sometimes I will crave protein. So that's very specific. Like my body's like, maybe I just need literally protein. Or sometimes like if you're craving something fresh, your body might be like, let's have some fruits and veggies, and there's lots of nutrients in fruits and veggies. Or sometimes you're craving carbs. Now, your body uses carbohydrates, I don't know, is it glucose? Whatever comes from carbohydrates, it fuels our body, fuels your brain. And so sometimes we crave carbs. One, because it needs energy. Another reason you may be craving carbs or something is because you're restricting. So if maybe you're trying to lose weight, and one way you're doing that is by cutting carbs. Well, the thing is, cutting carbs when your body is used to having carbs is like, hey, like we need energy. And I'm not saying like I'm not giving diet advice here. Okay, I want healthy relationship with food to me means a balance of all food groups, and that means not cutting out carbs. And there are different levels of nutrients, like more nutrient dense, less nutrient dense carbs. But anywho, if you're cutting out carbs, you may end up craving them, one, because your body is used to having them, and two, because your body's like, we could really use them for energy right now. And then another reason that you may have cravings is related to food addiction. I'm no expert on food addiction, but I think it is a real thing. And the thing with food versus any other substance is you can avoid other substances. You cannot avoid food. You need it to live. Yes, you can fast, but eventually you need to reintroduce food into your body. It is energy. Food is energy. It sustains our body. And I think it can be easy for some people, and I think there are instances where you can become addicted to food. And there might be different reasons. It may be related to like some of the reasons why you may binge eat. Maybe the food addiction is just, it's an escape for you. I think sugar addiction can be a real thing too. So that's kind of a little bit of a different topic, but that could be a reason why you are having cravings, is because you might be addicted to something and you may not even realize it. You might be addicted to eating for whatever reason. You might be addicted to sugar because you just eat so much of it. It's kind of like if you're a coffee drinker, it's very common if you like don't drink coffee for a day, you get a headache. And would you call that a coffee addiction? This is almost like your body's way of detoxing. I don't know. It's very strange, but cravings are not inherently bad. And if you're struggling with your relationship with food, you want to heal your relationship with food, I think it's important to notice, pay attention to your cravings. Consider, how have you been eating lately? Have you been eating a lot of processed food, really fatty, less nutrient-dense food? And because that is the track you've been on, you are craving that kind of food? And do you need to take a step back and be like, okay, I need to reintroduce some fresh, nutrient-dense food into my diet? Or have you been avoiding carbohydrates, or you've not been eating enough protein? And maybe your body is like, oh, I'm craving a burger, or like, I'm craving some bread. Well, maybe you need a burger. Like, legitimately, burgers aren't like the worst food in the world. Like, you have your carbohydrates for the bun, you have your protein with a patty, you can have like your pickled tomato lettuce. I'm good with condiments on there. Like, it's all about balance and moderation in your diet. It's all about having a wide variety of food, because that means you're getting a wide variety of nutrients. Not eating super processed foods, because that strips a lot of nutrients out of it. But listen to your body and understand, like, what am I craving? And maybe you're not sure. Maybe you're like, I don't know. And I don't have all the answers. But cravings, sometimes you do need to be like the adult to your inner child, to be like, I'm craving some chocolate. Maybe you do have a piece of chocolate, but sometimes, like, you have to put a stop. And that can be hard if you're really struggling with your relationship with food. But baby steps, and just acknowledging, like, being conscious of what you're craving, being conscious of what you've been eating, and like maybe what you should be eating. So if you have any comments on that, let me know. Hit me up down in the comments.